Hello, people of YouTube. This is Gray's Guitars. Thank you for watching. Squier is doing the Antigua burst, and that's pretty cool. So I feel like this is a finish either love or hate. If you actually want it on an actual Fender, a new one, I think it's like $1,700 for the Strat. It's up there. Definitely upper mid-tier to high tier, if you will. But if you're looking to get into it for significantly cheaper, or you're looking for a bass 6, there was a purple bass 6, but this is a really cool bass 6 too. The only downside is one of the most expensive Squier with this finish, the Antigua finish, is a Jazzmaster, and they might bring that out, but as of right now, they do not have that finish. It's going to be a limited run, but currently it is at European Realtors. So right now, if you're in the USA, I am sorry you cannot get a hold of this. I did look around, and I think the US is going to get this, because I think it was Sweetwater. I found a pre-order, but you're not going to be able to get a hold of it until October of this year. So keep in mind, if we do get this in the US, which I think we are, we're not going to be getting it until like October. And that is definitely a ways away. So Fender's affordable offshoot Squier has unveiled 4 limited edition Classic 5 models. Finished in the firms love it or hate it. Antigua burst, yeah, a lot of people like it or hate it. I think it's fine. Is it my favorite burst in the world? No. I do like a blueberry burst, a cherry sunburst, a honey burst. A lot of the Gibson colors there. Tobacco sunburst is always nice too. But it's up there. It's definitely something cool, something different. New line is currently exclusive to European retailers, but expected to hit shelves in the coming months, though we wouldn't be surprised if we saw similar offerings headed to the U.S. Shores eventually. All of the models are parts of Squier's acclaimed vintage-inspired classic vibe line, in keeping with the Antigua Burst 70s heyday. Offers 2 electric guitars, 2 basses, and their cues for the era, including a Stratocaster, which closely resembles Adam Sandler's 79 offering. Adam Sandler? Oh, okay, that is the right Adam Sandler. Who knew? Didn't even know he played guitar. A Tele Custom, P-Bass, and most intriguingly, a Bass 6, which, yeah, I would definitely buy that Bass 6 if I saw it. The later is often pitched as a halfway house between guitar and bass, using 6 bass strings in standard tuning, that is 1 octave lower than normal guitar tuning. And much like the Antigua Burst itself, has seen its fortunes revived in recent years, developing something of a cult following among heavy rock and metal players. The original Bass 6 was discontinued in 1975, and the Antigua finish developed in the late 60s, so they did not coincide with Fender's lineup for some years. However, we're not aware of any vintage 6s featuring the finish, so an Antigua Bass IV feels like, VI rather, 6, feels like a bit of the first and unusual spiritually appropriate pairing. We don't have a price point yet. We'll see if they give it to us. I did try to look up the price point. I think it was the Bass 6 was coming in at $500, which for a Squier and a fancy finish, not terrible. It also nods to perhaps the ultimate modern day example. Squier Vintage Modified Baritone Jazzmaster, another low-end offset in Antigua that has gone wild on the used market since it was discontinued in 2019. While the new batch of classics oozes 70s style, or lack thereof, depending on your tastes when it comes to the spec sheet, you can expect more of what you've seen elsewhere in the 70s series, like builds, namely Poblar bodies, maple necks, and Fender-designed Alnico pickups. So here we have probably the one I like the least, I would say, because of the giant honking pickguard. I feel like pickguards on a Telecaster, or this style of pickguard on a Telecaster, is kind of weird. I typically like the kind of the half style where this thing is covering the whole thing, which makes sense because it's easier to route out all of this as opposed to do all the routes and the back routes and all that with the actual Telecaster. Classic vibe, we have a 50 Strat to 70s thin line Tele, had reviewed consistently. Well, expect similar value for the money for these, with the pickups in particular purchasing well above their price point. On the price point, the Classic vibe, he was currently ranged from $409 for the Strat or Tele to approximately $418 for the P-Bass and $445 for the Bass VI. And if that's European prices, I know they have it in dollars, but if that's in euros, it would make sense that I saw the Bass 6 for $500. As mentioned, there are present only available for pre-order for European retailers, so fingers crossed they'll find their way across the Atlantic soon. Meantime, if you'd rather spend the cash on the guitar than the shipping, Fender has released a limited edition Antigua Finished Player Series Strat as part of the 70th anniversary celebration. for $14.99 or $1,500. Why? So I would like to see a jazz bass. A lot of people are not a fan of the P bass. You are or you aren't. The P bass has a significantly thicker neck, and it's pretty much the same thickness the entire length of the guitar. With the Jazzmaster, I think a lot of guitar players like it better, like myself, because it's thinner at the nut and then widens out a little bit as you go up the neck. I have owned both versions of the Mexican variety. Haven't owned any USA versions, but I traded the P bass for a jazz bass, not because of the pickups, not because it sounded bad, but for that specific reason. And then I ended up selling the jazz bass anyway, and I just have the two Thunderbirds at the moment. But really cool finish. Price point, I think you're spot on. You know, I don't think these are priced too high. You've definitely heard me complaining about the Epiphone price point over and over and over again every time they release something. I love Epiphone. I love what they're coming out with. But for the price point, I just don't think they're hitting the mark anymore, whereas Squier's doing that. So yes, Squier does have, you know, once in a while you'll get a signature Squier that's kind of expensive-ish. But at the same time, when you can get a nice bass 6 and this finish for $500, I'm not going to complain about that whatsoever. I think it's a cool instrument, and honestly, I want a bass 6 one of these days. Maybe this will be the one I pick up. I know I talked about picking up a purple one a while back, but I haven't been able to find one. At least not locally. You know, I always try to buy a local first, save on shipping and taxes and all that fun stuff. Well, I guess not tax if I buy it from a store. Good old sales tax here, at least where I am. But cool guitars overall. I think that's where we're going to end it. No need to make this longer than it needs to be. Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I am going to complain about the 21 frets, as I always do. I prefer 22 or 24. You know, at least 22. How many frets is on the bass 6? 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 21 on the bass 6 too. But realistically, on a bass, I don't care as much because you're not going up that high. And I think my Thunderbird basses only have 20 frets too, now that I'm thinking about it. And I'm you know, if I'm playing past the 12th fret on a bass, doesn't happen very often. Usually you're in the higher register, or lower register, I should say. But thank you for watching. Subscribe, notification bell, like, share, all that fun stuff. And as always, have a good one.